arrived. Election night 2017, and good evening to you from
Fantasy Football
Plaza here at Rockefeller Center, home ice advantage, our election headquarters for this history-making night as voters choose
the new member of the CLYC Fantasy Football League.
A choice which has divided so much of this country beyond just lines of blue and red, but further divisions of race and gender and
skill level.
In ways we've never seen before, in ways we will talk about here this evening. In less than an hour now, the first poll closings of this night. Just minutes from now, we'll start to get the first actual results from
members of the league as they place their votes. But we'll now go live in studio to visit with the commissioner of the CLYC Fantasy Football League as he discusses this year's candidates. This is Decision 2017.
Hi everyone, thank you all for joining us here on this special night. I'm Tony Pugh, Commissioner of the CLYC Fantasy Football League, and I'm honored to host Decision 2017, where we will select a new member of the Crystal Lake Yacht Club Fantasy Football League. Tonight we will be joined by 3 candidates in a head-to-head interview to help us determine who is the best fit for our league. Remember when listening to the interviews to keep in mind what makes the league most fun. What's the most important? So why don't we go ahead and get started with the interviews. Let's bring in our 3 candidates and welcome them. We have Chris Peterson, Mitchell Weinkoop, and Al Ludke. Hi everyone, thank you for joining us. As you all know, we only have one opening in the league, so we will be voting on which one of you we think is best fit. So why don't you each take a moment to introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, where you're from, what you do, and your relation to the Crystal Lake Yacht Club. Chris, we'll start with you.
My name's Chris Peterson. You guys don't know me already. I think I was one of the original members to the Fantasy Football League maybe 3 years ago. I don't know, I forget. But I've been going up to Michigan for as long as I can remember. Maybe since I was like 10 years old or something. If I don't know you already, you know, what's up? So yeah, I'm out of St. Louis, and my day job's a strategy consultant for a natural gas firm in town here. And so yeah, I'm looking to join your guys' club.
Thank you, Chris. Mitchell?
Okay. Hi guys, I'm Mr. Weinkoop, Traverse City, Michigan. I go to Kalamazoo College, study psychology and business there. Spent pretty much every summer of my life in this lake. Love it up there. So, you know, kind of my connection.
Okay. And last but not least, Al.
Yeah, my name's Alan Lucky. I'm born and raised in third generation in Michigan. I've been a member of the yacht club for over 20 years, and I'm a third generation Packer fan. The reason is my grandfather grew up in a town outside of Green Bay and started a family business here in Frankfurt in 1930. My father got into it, and then my uncle gave me 1 share of stock, so I'm now a shareholder. But I like all the other Michigan teams, so hopefully if you've got a lot of Michigan fans in the club, I pretty much like all the other football or all the other sports teams from Detroit area.
All right, guys, great. Thank you for the introductions. We'll start out by finding out how many of the league members you know. Chris, we'll start with you.
All right, just respond with yes if you know the person and no if you don't. Tony Pugh.
Yeah.
Franca.
Yep.
Jack Hutchinson.
Yeah, we've met a few times.
Warren Black.
Yeah, I know the one.
Chris Dow.
Yeah.
John Davis.
I don't think so.
Tom Gosnell.
Yep. Went to that dude's wedding.
Scott Gosnell.
Yeah.
Chris Hammond.
I don't think so.
Eric Rivard.
Oh, no, I've heard of him, though.
Aaron Wills.
Yep.
All right, just respond with yes if you know the person and no if you don't. Tony Pugh.
Yes.
Franca.
Yes.
Jack Hutchinson.
Yes.
Warren Black.
Yes.
Chris Dow.
Yes.
John Davis.
Yes.
Tom Gosnell.
Yes.
Scott Gosnell.
No.
Chris Hammond.
Yes.
Eric Rivard.
Yes.
Aaron Wills.
Yes.
All right, just respond with yes if you know the person and no if you don't. Tony Pugh.
Yes.
Franca.
Yes.
Jack Hutchinson.
No.
Warren Black.
No.
Chris Dow.
Yes.
John Davis.
No.
Tom Gosnell.
Yes.
Scott Gosnell.
No.
Chris Hammond.
Yes.
Eric Rivard.
No.
Aaron Wills.
Yes.
Well, it sounds like all of you know at least half of the members in the league. So we'll start out with the questions. First question is, how closely do you follow the NFL? Do you watch games every week, or are you more of just a casual fan? And do you have a favorite team? If so, what is it?
I'm casual for sure. Like, I'll flip it on Sundays when I'm just feeling like nursing a hangover or something. But I don't know like the details. I've been in a few fantasy leagues throughout the years, but I've kind of dipped out of them. In terms of fantasy hockey, I do that yearly. And so last year I got second place in my league. So like I have the wherewithal for fantasy football. I know it's there, but I don't follow the details. You know, I don't watch Sports Center. I don't listen to the radio and shit like that.
Okay, but you will, like, if you joined, you would like watch the games and stuff more frequently.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm a Lions fan. I'll pretty much exclusively watch them. Haven't really followed the NFL. More of a college football. But I'd like to get into it. Sure. I think playing league, being in a league, makes it a little more interesting to watch games. You don't have a real commitment to like watching the Lions. It'd be a good time.
Every week, third generation Packers. One shareholder stock in the Green Bay Packers.
Right. Do you watch other games too, or just the Packers?
Oh no, other games. No, I pretty much follow. Actually, I kind of follow around the team in the Packers division, so kind of check that out. And a little bit more of the NFC than the AFC. But pretty much follow the teams.
Have you ever played fantasy football before? Do you now? If so, how many leagues are you in currently?
So I don't play fantasy football. I keep declining joining my buddies' group. I don't know, just because it's like a small group and whatnot. It's not as nearly as organized as this one. So yeah, I have experience, but I just have one fantasy hockey league, and I'm pretty intense into that one, studying it daily. So it's just a matter of like getting involved and like getting my head in the game. I don't know, chatting with you guys.
I have never played before.
No. Hard to believe.
Okay. So what is your interest level in joining the CLYC Fantasy Football League?
My interest level. So I'm really interested in like keeping current with all you guys and like, just, I don't know, shooting the shit with you guys and, I don't know, just getting back into it. I don't know, finally saw the light. I'd say maybe like 8 out of 10, excited.
So Chris, just because everyone here is wondering, why did you decide to leave the CLYC Fantasy Football League initially?
So I dropped out of last league. Well, I guess 3 years ago I dropped out. For one, I started getting really busy and I just started a new job. And on top of that, I think that's when the ante was starting to get talked about, and like, I don't know, I guess I was on the edge anyway, and I just kind of like teetered off. So yeah, I just took some time off.
Very high. I've always wanted to play, I just haven't really had good opportunities. Sounds like you guys do a lot of good camaraderie and whatnot.
Scale of 9 to 10, I'd say 9.
All right, guys, thank you for answering those basic first questions. We're going to move on to the knowledge test portion of the interview. Answer these questions. If you don't know the answer, just simply say, I don't know. So we'll start out by having you name the different player positions in fantasy football.
Running back, tight end, wide receiver, QB, defense, and then you have like optional players, like I don't know, unregistered or whatever you call them.
Pretty sure you do a typical team. You got what, quarterback, 2 running backs, a defense, wide receivers, and kicker. Generally, what you go for?
Quarterback, running back, tight end, wide receiver, and obviously you've got your defensive players, defensive back, linebackers, defensive ends, and kicker. I don't think you have a punter in there, but you got a kicker in there. And then you've got a defensive team you pick.
All right, guys, next question. Who is the quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons?
Matt Ryan.
To be honest, I don't know.
Quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons is... Oh, man, you stumped me. Let's pass on that one. I'll get it. Taking me off about Atlanta. I can't believe he was in the Super Bowl. I can't think of his name, but I know he played at Boston College.
All right. Who is the number 1 running back for the Arizona Cardinals?
Is it Fitzgerald? No, he's wide receiver, right? I don't know.
No idea.
Probably Johnson.
Okay. Who is the number 1 wide receiver from the Pittsburgh Steelers?
The Antonio Brown?
No idea.
Antonio Brown?
Who is the tight end for the Carolina Panthers?
I don't know.
Don't know. Nothing.
Olsen. Greg Olsen.
On your roster, would you rather have the defense special teams for the Saints or for the Texans?
I'd probably go with Texas.
Saints.
Texans.
What is the logo for the Cleveland Browns?
It's just brown, isn't it? Piece of shit.
Couldn't tell you. I don't know.
Well, I've been in the dog pound before, but let me see. The logo for the Cleveland Browns. You've got me stumped. I guess it may be just a V. Maybe some kind of... I don't know.
Okay, guys, that concludes the knowledge portion of this interview. We'll move on to some other types of questions now. If you were voted into the CLYC Fantasy Football League, how active would you be? Would you draft and sit tight, or would you be active with trades and posting on the group page and group chat? Basically, would you go out of your way to involve yourself with making the league fun?
Yeah, so I don't really, when I involve myself in something, I don't like half-ass it. Like I go all in. I mean, I'm not going to be like leading the force here or anything, but like, you know, I'll be setting my lineup for sure. And like as I do in hockey, I'm definitely checking my guys to make sure they're not injured, you know, on the, and make sure they're not, scratched or whatever. Making sure they're efficient and actually getting me like the most points. If not, I'll drop them, add someone else, or look at someone else's for potential trades.
Yeah, I think I'd be real involved. I really like strategy, like conniving. I'd be real into it.
Well, I'd be involved with it. I guess it would depend on, if my players are doing well, or if they get hurt, obviously, then I'm going to need to try to draft some new players or do some trades. But no, I'd be open to working with the other members in the league. I mean, I'm this for fun. I mean, I'm sure it'd be fun to win it, but it's more fun for me.
So every year we have a summer awards night where we all get together and we grill out, have some drinks, talk about fantasy football, give out the trophies from the previous year, talk about the rules, we do the draft, and basically just have a good time. This is one of the more fun nights of the year, and it really brings the league together. So what is your commitment to trying to attend on a yearly basis?
I mean, schedule permitting. Just during the weekend, that'd be better. But it's doable now that my dad has a cottage up there, obviously. I mean, if I have plenty of time beforehand to schedule it out, I mean, not going to at least try,
I think it shouldn't be any problem as long as I give you the exact date in advance. That's all. Yeah, it's pretty high likelihood that I can do it.
I don't see any issues. The only thing is it's Christina's birthday on the 29th of May, so if that falls on your date, I might have to hook up with her on her birthday. You can't do fantasy over kid's birthday. The Labor Day would be no issue.
All right, guys, this next one's important. Shit talking is a staple in this league. It plays a big role. It's basically the heart and soul of our league. So why don't you give us some off-the-cuff shit talking? Pick some members in the league and rip them apart. Go.
I think Aaron Willis got some goddamn too much time on his hands. He needs to stop messing with the rules and stop playing commissioner and let Tony do his goddamn job. Dude, Tony, I didn't know I was going to be interviewing for The Bachelor, man. What, I got to, make out with you in a hot tub after this or something? Goddamn. And, shoot, I don't know how many Asians are in the league, but but I hope Franken knows that they're not that good at football. That's all I've got for now, man.
That Warren Black, a real burnout. Obviously, lived all his glory days in high school with his frat. Talks about it all the time. Or not high school, college. Yeah, kind of just meanders around. No wonder he's been, kicking around abroad with Andy and Bergen. Yeah, not surprising. Franca, kind of an enigma. Comes and he goes. Yeah, Tony Pugh, real try hard. I don't know. Yeah. Aaron Wills, kind of a slime ball.
A what?
A slime ball. A grease ball. Yeah, I don't know. Tom's a pretty good guy, all in all. Don't really know him well enough. Yeah, the other guys I don't. Yeah.
Rip them apart? I'll tell Aaron that he doesn't have a chance with me. I taught him everything he knows about football. And Frank, I don't know. He's got to stay out west with his West Coast teams. I don't think he knows too much about the Midwest here since he left us. And as a Texas Tom, I'm sure he's a big Dallas Cowboy, Houston Texan fan. So he's going to draft all those Cowboys. But the Packers, they can take the Cowboys any day. And you're a Bears fan, so you might be going with Mitch Trubinsky. Ooh, I don't know. But no, I think I'll interact well with everybody. I'm not sure about Chris Dow, if he's a New York fan or where his allegiance is, but I'd like to give him some crap.
All right, definitely some different shit-talking strategies there from each of you. So those are all the questions we have. So why don't you guys give us one last final statement? Why should we pick you?
That's a good question. I'd say, I'm one of the OGs. I know I've fallen off, but it's my opportunity to make a splash, come on back, and be part of the game. I can hang with the best of them. All it takes is just, to get back in it and get my name back on that plaque, get on that trophy, God damn it.
I'll be a committed member. I love football, played it my entire life. I'll pick it up pretty easily. I know the game. I think I'll be a committed member of the team. Love football, played it my entire life. I'll pick up the game pretty well. And I'm just looking forward to playing in the league, and I hope you guys will accept it.
Because I think I'd be maybe bring a little old school to the group, and maybe be able to give some tips on some of the other guys as far as kind of how the old school. I'm a Bart Starr, as you can see, Hall of Fame, that era and that dynasty, and I think you guys should use some old blood in the group.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us. Guys, that basically concludes the interview portion with the candidates. We will now move on to analyzing their interviews and discussing each one of them. We'll discuss their strengths, their weaknesses, and basically who we think is the best fit for our league. Now, I will provide my feedback on the three candidates, and I will invite you to comment down below on what your thoughts are. Start a discussion, and let's see what everyone thinks. Then, we will move on to the voting process. The ballot's open tonight. We will start voting. So I want to start off the discussion by asking, what makes fantasy football fun? The answer is involvement. If you have a member that's not involved, that sits tight, doesn't do anything, doesn't post on the boards, doesn't do anything to involve themselves with the league, they really aren't a good fit. They can be the smartest person, or they can be your best buddy. But that doesn't make them a good member for the league. We want someone involved, someone who's going to shit talk, someone who's going to post on the message boards and make the league more fun. Let's just go down the line. Chris Peterson was in the league, dropped out, but is trying to rejoin. He wants to join because, as he stated in his interview, he wants to stay in contact with us. To me, that says he wants to stay involved. He wants to go out of his way. He also said he has been in other fantasy leagues, and when he's in those fantasy leagues, he commits and is more active. So to me, that means that he wants to be involved. He wants to go out of his way. He's a fun person. I think he would be highly involved. I think Mitchell would be involved. I can't say that I think he would be the most involved of the three. I think he would be the least involved, actually. I don't think that he would be a Matt Whipper of the group, where he, no offense to Matt, but doesn't post on anything. I don't think that it would necessarily be that. But I think of the three, he would be the least involved and least likely to go out of his way to make the league more fun. Then we go over to Al. Not everybody knows Al. Some of us closer to Aaron know Al. And Al is huge into sports, and you could see already with his interview that he wants to make this fun. I didn't ask him to dress up, but he went out of his way to wear a bunch of Packers gear. He had some other stuff on the couch that you guys didn't get to see, but he went out of his way to make that interview more fun for us. I think that could be a good sign. He also said he would be very active, which I completely believe. I think that he would be very active. And from what it sounded like, he's enthusiastic. When I spoke with him, he actually is interested in being in this league, not just off the cuff, maybe I'll join. He actually wants to be a part of it because he wants to have fun. I think he'd also be dedicated to attending the awards night every year. He does live in Frankfurt, so he would be there every year. So let's start out by giving a quick synopsis from each of the three candidates. Of the three, Mitchell knew the most members. He knew 10, Chris knew 8, and Al knows 6. So that means that each of them knows at least half, if not most, of the members in this league. None of them know everything. From a football knowledge perspective, Al had the highest score. He knew the most. On the flip side of that, Mitchell didn't really know anything. Then we go to the shit-talking rating, where I asked them to come up with some shit-talking about the members in our league right off the top of their head. Kind of put them on the spot. As you can see, and I thought Chris did the best of coming up with some stuff. Mitchell knew more people, so he was able to kind of give some generic shit-talking. And Al, he's older, so he's not as good at it, but he wasn't afraid to go after Aaron, and we all like that. From an interest level, each one of these candidates is highly interested in joining, so we have no separation there. It's not like some people are on the edge. They all want to be in this league. From a football knowledge perspective, and who watches the NFL the most, Al wins that by a landslide. He always is watching games on the weekend. He doesn't just watch the Packers, he watches other games, mostly in his division, he says, but those are the games in your area usually. But he does watch every weekend. He's always watching Sports Center. Lives for sports. Chris, he doesn't watch it as much as Al. He's more of a casual fan. He'll watch the games, and when he joins the league, he'll watch even more. Mitchell doesn't seem to watch anything. He says he's a casual Lions fan. To me, that means you're not even a casual fan, because that means you occasionally watch the Lions game, which, if you're a Lions fan, I can't blame you for not really wanting to watch the games too much. But at the same time, you really don't. If you're not watching that means you're probably not watching any of the other games. So I think that from a knowledge perspective, Al wins that. So if we're looking for somebody who is very smart with fantasy, even though he's never played before, Al, I think, would be the best one. He's the most knowledgeable about the players and would be able to tell you and pick up good people. He's not going to pick a kicker first round or something like that. I think he could actually be competitive in the league. Chris, he could be competitive. I think it sounds like he puts in a lot of time and effort when he does play, which he's taken a hiatus from because of his new job that he started. But when he plays fantasy, it sounds like he would be active. He knows how to play fantasy, and he knows how to win in a fantasy league because he won in his hockey league. And the 1 year that he was in our league, he did place 5th out of 8. So he just missed the playoffs. So it wasn't like he was in the running for the blue balls. So I think he could be competitive in this league as well, because he knows the strategy of fantasy football. Mitchell, I think, would have a lot harder of a time learning how to play because he doesn't watch the NFL that much, and he's never played fantasy, so it's harder to pick something up if you don't do one or the other. If you watch a lot of the NFL and you know a lot about it, then it might be easier to pick up on fantasy. If you know fantasy really well, but you just don't know the NFL, it might be easier to pick up on it. But if you don't know either of them, it could make things difficult. So that's going to conclude the discussion of candidates from the commissioner's perspective. I want each of you to comment down below and tell us your thoughts. What do you think about the candidates? Who do you think would be a good fit? Why? Do you agree with what I said? Do you disagree with what I said? Please feel free to start a discussion down below. But tonight is the night. We will decide who our new member is. In 1 hour's time, I will post to the group page, and each one of you will get a chance to vote. You can change your vote at any point up until tomorrow at 7 p.m., in which we will announce the newest member of the Fantasy Football League. So make sure you guys go and cast your votes on who you think should be the newest member of the CLYC Fantasy Football League. This is Decision 2017.